one of the biggest ideas that came from the last century from Terence McKenna was the idea of an archaic revival. And Terence saw through the cross-cultural movements of rave music, of the shamanism that was emerging, that there was a resurgence of a desire to bring back what was, in his perception, the archaic, the old, fitting into a pre kind of industrial model. And he saw that this was like maybe like an antibody that the collective consciousness was generating through jazz music, beatnik culture, psychedelic journeys, LSD, that was almost like the requirement of expansion in a culture that was becoming calcified. It was the repressed becoming surfaced and requiring expression. It was the collective shadow using some creative form in order to heal itself through the irrational, through the feminine, through the kind of pre-literate consciousness that was seeking to find an outlet for its very blocked energy. And this is an idea that we should examine now in this age in our relationship with life, and the almost necessity for the allowing of continuing the archaic revival, in the sense that what we see playing out on the planet is so many people feel psychologically stuck. We've been suppressed for such a long period of time. We haven't quite busted out of the rigid cocoon of our cultural matrix, and we're looking for that next form of expression, that next kind of movement of consciousness that can enable us to channel our energy towards something greater, towards something that we can all stand behind and go, yeah, we're with the raves, or we're with, drinking medicine, or we're with whatever form it's going to take. So with the internet, we have a kind of it's definitely not an archaic revival. It's more of like a technological imperative that is our planetary system ushering forth some, collective agenda. And I think that because so many of us are so technologically minded, we've lost touch with the more grounded, feminine, more earth-based consciousness that really the archaic revival was an attempt to integrate into our psyches. And so I think that the call for many of us, if we heed to take it, is to what might be called rewild, step out of the kind of illusion of needing to wear clothes and of the, very tight kind of attire of our Western belief system, and become a little bit more spontaneous, become a little bit more intuitive, more in touch with the earth element, and get in touch with those repressed aspects of our own sexuality and of our own shadow that are needing to be healed, and that are actually causing most of our suffering, through getting out into the wilderness, kind of like being a bit edgy in those spaces, and having the courage to examine those kind of uncomfortable spaces within oneself to bring about a kind of balancing effect. Thank you for listening.